What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at the best midfielders in FC 24. We have cut the list down a little bit. Like I said with most of these, I think this is the last one now where we have got rid of a few of the icons and just added in the Centurions. We're kind of going to go with the new fresh feelers. Nobody wants to see the icons every single time. I've got a pure tier list for icons on the channel as well, if you want to check that one out. And there is obviously all the others, attackers, goalkeepers, and also defenders. But today we are looking at the midfielders, so let's get straight into it. So straight off the bat, I know he's not technically a centre mid, but he can play there. Huller is king of all kings. I'm pretty sure he's still coming in at a huge price. He is, from his 90 to his 91, 5.3 mil compared to 3.6. We know what Hull is like. We know that he is absolutely phenomenal. Especially with all the other icons as well. They are going to be roughly in that same sort of position. Like Vieira is going to be at the top. Matthias is. A normal Zico is. Bobby Charlton. So naturally you don't need to worry about them, as they pretty much stay in that position for the rest of time, to be honest. So moving on to a few other players then. So we have had the new promo of the FC Pro Live. So I'm going to go through obviously a lot of these players quite quickly, because naturally you want to get to the end. You want to see where I'm ranking every single one of these. We've got a few midfielders that, to be honest, are going to be nice when they get their upgrades. There is like 5 upgrades I want to say they could eventually get. 2 of them only getting the qualifying and then the winning one. So that is like the final ultimate upgrade of the +4. But Playstyles, Playstyle Plus, Weak Foot Skill Move upgrade can be obtained with these cards. They are assigned to a pro as well. So Calvin Phillips is obviously going to be with Tex, the Man City boy. I'm not too sure of the rest, to be honest. I don't really know the ins and outs of all of the pros. I just know Tex, really. And then a few others, but again, I wouldn't be able to tell you what promo. In terms of where they kind of sit each of them, let's move this down a little bit. We have got Calvin Phillips as an 86. Pretty bog standard, according to this. I will upgrade them as they obviously upgrade, so we are going to go with their featured, kind of their stats now, rather than what they could be, because naturally you could get Calvin Phillips as a 90, you could get Fabinho as a 91. If they don't get there, they don't get them stats. So we're going to go for right now. I feel like Dele Alli definitely is not a terrible one in terms of a midfielder. He is slightly better than the rest, I'd say, because in terms of a cam, it's what you need. He's got a bit of pace that you can whack a hunter on. Dribbling's decent. Very good composure. Balance a little bit less, but again, we can kind of sort that out as we get upgraded. The hunter gives him 90 pace as well as 93 shooting. I don't think there's anything too bad with that card. I'm not saying he's in the top category, but he most definitely is not on the lower end. When it comes to Calvin, I'd probably say he's pretty much where he's at, and same with Fabinho, to be honest. With a kind of DM, they have got a lot at the moment. Same with Locatelli, and I would say Mengengo. What is he looking at? I can't remember what his skill move weak foot is. He is a silver already, a 3-star. I mean, in terms of a centre mid, he's kind of centre mid CDM. I'm not getting the greatest vibe from him. Maybe in game he could be a little bit better, and potentially could he stick there? It's mainly just the stats overall that's really killing him, because when it comes to these lot, they are natural just CDMs, where he has got, well, I say a little bit more pace. He's the same pace as Locatelli's, that's 79 or 78, either one more. But the fact that he's a silver prior, I feel like he's not going to have that same effect as these guys. Then we look at a few of the golds. I must admit, Tchouaméni probably could be going out right now. Tonali, I'd still say Dion could definitely go, and Putellas is a very, very nice centre mid. But I think in terms of golds, we are naturally going away from that now. We've got a Bellingham player of the month. We've got a KDB, Centurions and Flashback. Milinkovic-Savic has an inform. Modric has a special. Rice. There's so many. Literally the list of centre mids now, most of them have had upgrades. And unfortunately the golds, even Putellas had her Nike form, but it's a Nike form. It really doesn't add any sort of value to it. When we look, in fact, the one thing I haven't looked at is Bruno Gomes. He hasn't got an upgrade yet. What about De Paul? I must admit, that is the one thing I completely forgot about. So De Paul is an 87 and Modric is a 93. I know that full well. So we're going to have to bring them back. FC 24 is here, and Sky Coach has all your needs covered. From squad battles, champs, qualifications, and even now draft boosting, there is a long list of services they do give, as well as coaching, and also the big one everybody wants in FC 24 coins. This service is fast and reliable, and you will get your coins, your boosting services, or obviously coaching in a matter of hours. If you do want to get any of these, make sure you head over to skycoach.com Midfielders.gg. Go onto the website, and when you go to checkout, make sure that you are using the code JT11 at checkout for your 5% off your orders. And if you'd prefer to do this on mobile, check out the screen right now with the QR code for their mobile app. So we have now added them in. So we've got 87 Lema, 87 DePaul, 93 Modric. Bruno G hasn't had an upgrade yet, or at least I don't think he has more than 2. And then we've got Bruno Fernandes at the 90 that, to be honest, is looking very, very unlikely to qualify. In terms of the cards, Modric I quite like, to be honest. I think more of a passing game for him. If anything, he is normally known as kind of like a cheaper midfield, very much a KDB, Xavi-esque sort of card. Naturally, the pace is not necessarily in the 90s, but we have got the passing in the 94. Currently coming in at 361, which most definitely isn't a bad card whatsoever in terms of price. When we look at Bruno Fernandes, it depends on what you kind of want him for in the formation you play, because if you are a very balanced formation, maybe you've got a flat line, a 4-4-2-esque sort of formation, he's not really going to fit massively unless he plays that kind of DM cam sort of role. So you're looking at more like a 4-1-2-1-2. He will attack very, very well. His passing, again, like Modric, very nice. But I would much rather go for a Modric if I'm looking as like a balanced box-to-box. He just isn't that sort of card. Whether we see it in the future, I'd like to see like a 95-96 Bruno eventually. And that would be where Bruno does get his kind of his sort of availability in the actual game, because you need him really as a lamb, as a ram, maybe even a semi-winger, someone who is kind of pushing that left-hand side rather than necessarily being out wide. He can kind of push up that way. That is where he would work, but definitely not with 76 pace on this card at all, really. When it comes to the rest, Bruno G, always a nice card, very box-to-box-esque, very nice on that physicality, and he will hold the ball very nicely. But in terms of not having that upgrade yet, that is where we need to start rolling with him. With DePaul, again, another nice card going forward, stat-wise looking pretty consistent throughout. You go with a shadow on him, I feel like it's shadow or anchor people are going to be choosing. You'd end up with 89 pace, 86 defending, an 88 overall centre mid, or an 89 CDM. I'd say that's a pretty decent card for 248. You're looking at a 4-star, 3-star. He's got himself a bit of composure. Agility balance is nice. Just a very good box-to-box. And it's where Lema is more of, I believe, the DM sort of card, especially going on that double upgrade as well. Coming in at 180. Very good defensive ability with the physicality as well. And also a bit of pace, bit of dribbling, and also a bit of passing. So again, he's going to come in that kind of medium tier. Not quite in the S, I don't think, but just under kind of there. And then above kind of the really bog standard, very much discard sort of cards. The one card that is very interesting to see is Milinkovic-Savic. He is one that I think it's the same as someone like Conte. Right now, he doesn't look fantastic. Like, he looks good, little bit less on that pace. He's got a good amount of physicality. He's a very tall CDM, coming in at 6'4" with a 4-star, 5-star. But if you think with this card what it can start, that is going to be the real kind of play for him. Once he gets a bit of pace, that inevitably pushes up his physicality, his dribbling, his defending. He's going to be a nice card. And then when the other Saudi players around him start getting the upgrades, we start seeing a 90 Conte, a 95 Ronaldo, a 99 Neymar. That is when Milinkovic-Savic could really put his own into it. And I think right now it's just more of a starting block for him. And I think Conte, again, he's not necessarily got the stats that are as wowing as Milinkovic-Savic. And I think the one thing with Savic is the fact that he's got a 4-star, 5-star as well on the base is always going to be fantastic. Conte only a 2-star, 3-star. We know that once we get a flashback Conte or something along them lines, that is what we really want to see from him. We do have two other centre mids in Goretzka and Valverde in informs, and I love both of them. Valverde, I don't know how he's kept such a high price. Goretzka's a perfect box-to-box. Stats are nice. In general, very, very quick, nice on the ball, and obviously gets good links in the Bundesliga. For me, I'd say I'd stick him there. If he does get a second, third, fourth inform, then we can obviously talk higher rated. But I think for me, it would be Valverde that takes the lead. Only a 1 upgrade from his gold, so realistically, you're looking at a very good centre mid regardless, inform or gold. His gold's coming in at 181, which is just crazy to the fact that that gold is still that priced compared to everything else. 181, but the big thing is 88 pace on the gold, 89 on this inform, as well as 82 and above stats on everything. He is a 3-star, 4-star, so we could look for that skill move upgrade, but I think he is a beautiful centre mid. If you've ever used him, you could totally understand that I know why he is in that top category. Going through a few of the heroes then. So we've got Abide Pele, JJ, Marquisio, Ramirez, Schneider, and a triple threat Yaya Toure. In terms of a lot of these, they will be getting UCL heroes next week or the week after. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's next week that we're getting them. This is going to be a big upgrade for them. Whether we just see +1s or +2s, that will kind of dictate how well this promo goes. It reminds me very much of the World Cup promo. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting, which most of them did do very well. So I'm hoping for some beautiful cards. Yaya Toure is an easy one in that there. Ramirez is exactly the same. I would kind of go something along the lines of this. Marquisio, Abide, Okocha in that top category. It would be Yaya and Ramirez, my personal favourites in the S+. Schneider, with the upgrade, could go up. But for right now, I'd be looking at more of an A. Very standard. Nothing too crazy on the card. And he's currently coming in. I'm pretty sure he was quite expensive prior, but I feel like he's got to have lost a lot of price. And apparently, his World Cup is 91. Whether that's true, we will see in a week or so. It's currently coming in at 270, which I think is very expensive for him. To say that you can go get a cam, you go finish Bellingham off, literally for untradeable fodder, that is going to be where I'd probably put my sort of assets, and we're going to have Mbappe soon, so that's going to be even more expensive. Bellingham for me is absolute top dollar. I love the card, even if you go for the gold at, what, 12,000 coins, an easy, cheap option, or you go for the more expensive one. It is a beautiful card nonetheless. Very good at the box-to-box sort of game, and he just plays it. It's that good. When it comes to the icons, we have got Gattuso, we have Makalele, we have Pirlo, and we have Zico. Well, Zico obviously is going to the top of the top. Everybody loves Zico. The one thing I hate with these Centurions is the 1 upgrade. That for me is just not good enough. Going from a 91 to a 92 with +1s on everything, 3 on defending, 2 on physical, it's just not enough. You cannot expect a big card like this to get 2 versions. It's the fact that he's still coming in at 700k more than his 91 for a 1 upgrade. You are not going to notice the difference. You're paying for a dynamic, and that's literally it. When it comes to Gattuso, this year I just don't think it's him for me. Tackling wise, fantastic. In terms of defensive tackles, brilliant. But getting around the pitch is just an absolute chore for him. I'm not a massive fan of it, and I think a lot of people will feel the same. Makalele this year, though, again, I would much rather go for the bog standard normal icon, as it is only a 1 upgrade, and I think 100k cheaper, 150k cheaper. But the card is absolutely beautiful. Very good CDM, moves around the pitch very quick, good tackling, good physical, passing's decent enough to get out. I think he's a perfect CDM for this starting point, especially if you did manage to get him from an icon pack in the first or second one. And then we have Pirlo, nice craftable SBC. You can go grind him out for literally, what, 600,000, 8 SBCs. You could have done that over the course of the month very, very easily, depending on obviously who else you chose. But I think he's a nice centre mid. I'd kind of put him in the middle as well. I wouldn't necessarily go in S category for him. I'd be looking more into that A as the bog standard between the two. He's not bad, but he's not necessarily in that top category as well. We then have a few more in the Centurions. We have Atina, I believe is how you pronounce the name, De Bruyne, we have Grace, we have Musiala, and also Pedri. Some really nice centre mids here. I really like the Grace card. In terms of her gold, in terms of stats, very much like Bellingham, nothing impressive. Like it just looks like a normal 86, nothing crazy, more than likely fodder before too long. But now we've got this upgrade again. I'm absolutely buzzing. She is a phenomenal CDM. Has that links to a lot of the French ladies as well, plus any of your French players in the team also. So it's just an easy win-win. With Bonmati, it's a little bit different. I do think with Bonmati, she needs some more of the Spanish. You've got Rolfo, you've got Putiella, you've got the Nigerian striker, you've got Hansen. So there is options, but it is changing a lot of your team. When it comes to someone like Grace, Diana, the left back that I cannot remember her name, or Baka, you've normally got a fair few French players in. Varane's an easy option. You've got Mignan, I've seen a bit. Tchouameni. You've got, obviously, Mbappe, but that is what it is. Icons that are French. Don't know how many heroes that are French. You've got Govu, but you've got a lot of choice on there. When it comes to Spanish, there's not too many. Unless you're going for someone like a Torres, you're looking for someone like a Putellas. You've not really got too many there. So, realistically, it is more difficult to link her. She has only gone up a +1 as well, so I would say go with the gold. You're saving yourself 600,000 coins just buying the gold. She is a phenomenal centre mid as well. Same as KDB. Wouldn't quite go S+ for him this year. I maybe think differently in Team of the Year because naturally, well, actually, would he get a Team of the Year? I'm pretty sure he does for last year. Maybe not this year. The treble winning side, there's got to be a lot of Man City players in there. When it comes to Musiala then, one that fell off hard on his 86. I felt like that card was absolutely everywhere. Very good pace, a new, fresh, big upgraded card into now the 89 that I just don't see anywhere. He has got the technical playstyle plus on this version. I don't know if does he even have one? He has a technical as well on his gold. Coming in at 12,000 on that card. 489 with a triple upgrade for this Centurions. And I'd say he's in the lower tier of the S. I like the pace upgrade, the dribbling's nice, but in terms of cams for myself, I don't really need them, to be honest. And that's the big thing, is wingers are key at this point. So cams, if they can't play wing, are a little bit less relevant unless your formation allows it. Pedri at 190. 89 rated, it's a nice upgrade for him. He's got himself the Tiki Taka playstyle plus, which I haven't really utilised too much, to be honest. It is, again, a very standard sort of playstyle plus. In terms of the card, nothing really too crazy. Good passing. Pace is definitely up there at the 82, which is always nice. But in terms of defending or attacking, there's not one or the other. They're both relatively low, so you've got to choose where you want him. Do you want him more attacking fronted or more in the defense? And I'd definitely say the Shadow is more than likely where everybody's going to go. We'll give you the 90 pace and the 80 defending, and it'll be an 89 centre mid as standard. So I think for me, I'm going to keep him in this A as well. Very much sort of Perlo sort of vibes, if I'm being really honest. Then we have a look if we can get the tier list to stay still. We have Maddison and also Thiago. Well, Maddison's brilliant just purely on the fact he is a free card. Free cards are always good in my book, especially if they have some usefulness. Prem as well, which is always nice, and he has changed his playstyle plus from dead ball into long ball pass. It definitely has a good option for him. I'd put him in this A category. For a free card, I definitely wouldn't be moaning whatsoever. In terms of Thiago, I think he's very much the same. He is kind of more of that passing orientated, dribbling centre mid, little bit of pace, not too much on the defending or shooting either, so he's kind of just going to stay within that middle. Rice, on the other hand, I think, we're going a lot in the middle, to be honest. I think in terms of pace, he could have done with that little bit more of a jump, but I can imagine we will see that at some point. So whether we see that in a month, 2 month, 3 month, that would be the card I really want. At least like an 84, 85 pace Rice, because naturally everything's going to come down to pace. He's got a good amount of defending and physical on the card, and it will get him so far. But when he needs the pace to kind of be less sort of stuck in the mud sort of vibe, that's when we want the Rice in the team. So right now, I'd kind of be leaning towards B, but in terms of an SBC, wasn't too expensive. Mickey, on the other hand, again, in terms of a card, he's nice, but he's not going to make people's teams. Like maybe at the start of Trailblazer, we could have argued it. 30,000 coins. He is a 4-star, 5-star, but in terms of cams we've got, he is pretty much on that lower end. Now we have Rapinoe. Honestly, she should just get straight in there. The only reason why I mention it is because I've seen her a few times in games, and I know she is literally the most hated card, or at least a dislike card, on FUTBIN history. She has got the finesse shot plus, so I can see people super subbing her, maybe doing that sort of game, because finesse shot plus is a broken playstyle plus. So she is a relatively good card to have if you don't already have a Son, a Salah, a Griezmann, a Zola. Anybody with that finesse plus up front is very broken, and she's only 100,000 coins. But the fact that she is who she is, she's going in the C. Then we have Wirtz and Witsel. two beautiful cards to finish this off. We have the level 20 or level 19 objective, and then Verts as also the SBC for the player of the month. Did miss out on Kane. I must admit, I expected Kane to be having it, but unfortunately, Verts has gone in his place and not really given us too much. 4-star, which is always nice. He's 24,000 coins, so at the very minimum, he is fodder. But Verts needs that 90 plus to really boost up all of the stats. Otherwise, we might as well just go with a bog standard 86 Musiala. Witsel, on the other hand, I really like the card. I think in terms of defensive prowess, he's always been able to be upgraded very well. And I think, again, they've gone good with this one. An 8 upgrade from his gold to his level 19. I think he's a beautiful card. Not necessarily my cup of tea in terms of main team, but building out, for instance, the La Liga team, the Belgian team, he is going to be a solid CDM. And it means we're probably not going to see Witsel for quite some time. But that's going to be the tier list. Let me know down below if there's anybody else that you'd have chosen or moved. And I'll catch you all for the next one. Take care. Peace.